What's going on, guys? So this is basically a video for Pojo and anyone else in the TCG that will soon be getting the prophecy creatures. They're actually called Madou, and it's infinitely better than the prophecy thing. But anyways, so Madou, prophecy, however you want. So I've been having a lot of trouble trying to come up with a good deck list for this, and obviously this last format of Insectors, Rabbit, and other nonsense, depending on where you are. I'm actually an American, but I live in Japan, and so I've been playing Ver's Lagia, which will be Evil Swarm Lagia if you guys get it in TCG, if it doesn't get nerfed. And it's been really good. But obviously, I've really liked this new archetype, and I really wanted to try it out. So here's what I've come up with so far, and it started to top in some other parts of the country. And obviously, we're not going to get too far until Insectors and some of the other shit gets hit. But let's take a look. So first, we have 3 Junons, and she's really, really great. She's probably the key to the deck. And that's whenever I've play tested against Ver's Lagia, the worst thing that could happen was a turn 1 Ver's Orpheon, and that basically shut the deck down because I had to wait for a Raigeki Break or use a power spellbook to get over it, because without being able to get Junon out first turn, it's really a tough game. So the next option there is Batel, and he is fantastic. I had originally underestimated him and put him at 1 and then 2, and I kept going up, and eventually 3 is just the best number. And if you can manage to get 2 out, you can go into Gachi Gachi. But because of the nature of the format, you're not going to be able to set him unless you're at game 2 where you know that they're not playing Insectors or they're not going to pop it, because it's just too much of a -1 right now to just let him get destroyed without flipping, because you're just down a card and you really tend to plan ahead for that card, whatever you're getting. Obviously next is Tempur, the heart and soul of the deck. If it didn't have that restriction of not being able to special summon more, it would just be the silliest deck ever. Next up we have actually 2 breakers, because I don't run MST, and honestly I've found the 1-for-1ing to be pretty good, and Breaker's still a beater after the power book. He's still 2600, and that gets over a lot of the problems in the game right now. Next is Sischi, and she is Sischi, sorry. She's fantastic. As long as you have something to protect yourself, I find this deck does need about 1 turn to set up, and that's really the biggest problem right now, is the best decks don't have that waiting a turn to just go off. They just Rabbit goes, everything else goes. So this deck needs about a turn to set up. You need an end of phase for Sischi, and you need an end phase for Maison, and the rest of that stuff to really get going. So once this deck does get going, though, it is top tier. It's just a matter of getting the loops going. So then the last 2 cards there, you can see an Effect Veiler and a Chariot, I think is his name? Chariot. Oh, Chariot is, I think, the English translation. So he's been pretty good. He gets your Tempest back or whatever else, whatever you need. Effect Veilers, etc. So he's pretty good. I probably should run 1 more Effect Veiler, but I honestly am using them in other decks right now, and I figured I could make up the difference. So that's the creature base, and next I'll take a look at the magic base. So 1 second. Alright, welcome back, guys, and now we're looking at the spellbook and just general magic cards of the deck. Or spell cards, sorry. So, first we have 3 Grimo, basically the tutor of the deck, and all tutors that are at 3 should be run at 3, obviously. So, no question there. Tora, actually, is fantastic, and I found with all of the bottomless trap holes, all of the compulsory escape devices, and dimension prisons, mirror force, blah blah blah, torrential tribute, etc., 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 Tora has just been fantastic. And it gets you a spellbook to the graveyard, if nothing else, on the end phase of your opponent's turn, so you can just set it up to recycle off of Maison if you want. So I found it to be a really great card. Let's see if I can get a better picture for that for you. Alright, so the next one is a power spellbook. It's actually, what was this? Hyoguro? No Madou? Oh, so, whatever, we'll call it power book because it's easier. And then, I like it at 2. It's powerful, you can search it up, so you don't really need more than 2. The field card has essentially let us slim down on the amounts. The only reason that we're running, obviously, 3 Grimo and 3 Tora is because having multiples of Tora doesn't hurt because you can activate in the same turn, and Grimo you just want to draw as soon as possible. Actually, the next card is kind of a tech choice. I like, is it Dechi? No Batel? The remove any amount up to 3 to do, what is it? Oh, banish a card for 3, flip face-up attack or face-down defense for 2, and return any spell or trap to the hand for 1. So you're always going to have at least 1, and then the next choice is do you want to go for 2 or 3. Sometimes just flipping over a Bear's Orpheon is enough to win you the game, so it's sometimes those little things that flipping face down, Book of Mooning if you need it, and the removal, as we'll get to in a second, isn't as bad as it might seem. The next one over there in the corner here is the Necronomicon, basically. Necro no Madou. And the card's fantastic, but it generally has just 2 purposes. Either get you your temperance back so that you can go get another Junon, or just to get the level bonus and then to exceed into something. So it's alright. I like it. It's a 2, and that's comfortable. Next is probably one of the key loops to the deck, and it is La Maison. It's tutorable. It lets you draw an extra card every turn, and if you're familiar with my playmat, Chase the Mind Sculptor, drawing extra cards every turn is fantastic. So he's really great. He, along with the next book, Alma, and Grimo, lead you to basically a free pop every turn, and you can tutor it up so that you're pretty damn consistent, that you have spellbooks going every turn, and you're not actually minusing your own field at all. So that's a great card. And I mean, even if they blow it up, you can hit 1. If it goes to the grave, no matter what, you're at least getting your Effect Veiler, if not Batel, or even I've had games where I've been able to get out Junon off of it. So it is very nice. And remember that you can special summon from both your hand or your deck, but it can only be destroyed by your opponent for that effect. The next one is Alma, and that one I've found to be amazing. It actually seems kind of like shit at first, but later on it becomes a toolbox for your RFG pile, which with Junon is actually really, really nice. Make sure that if you have the loop, you essentially have the spellbook tower, and you will Grimo for Alma. You'll remove this with Junon over there to pop, and then I usually tend to end or main phase 2 the Alma, and then that way it's set up for the next upkeep to you'll double draw, and then you can Grimo again into the Alma and rinse and repeat. And if you need the kill power, you can go for that too. Last is the kind of pile O staples that every deck has. One magical dimension, excuse me. I didn't find that 2 was really that great because most of the creatures besides the boss monsters aren't really worth special summoning. So it was a lot better when I was running Endymion, and I also was testing Black Magician of Dark Chaos, or whatever the hell the good one's called that hopefully comes back. So yeah, he's good. If Demont comes back, then that will probably go up. But for now, it is what it is. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, all of them good cards and probably have to stay. The only one that I would potentially drop is Heavy, just because we can go into Junon to blow up their whole backfield whenever you want. But I've never really found myself wanting to go into that over just continuously blowing up their field with Junons. So I bought some and I have them, but I haven't really found them to be that useful. Alright, so the next video part will be about the trap set. So give me one sec. Alright guys, so the last part of the deck is obviously the traps. And this is the most freestyle part of the deck, I think. So, continue. Sorry. And so this is the most freestyle part of the deck. I think that 2 bottomless is pretty safe. Just this deck does not have defense, and that is the biggest problem with it. So torrentials, I mean, you can do the whole torrential your thing, Tora your Junon, and kind of save your guy. I found that tech to be very handy in almost all the decks I've been running. Lately in Verslagia I've been torrentialing and then sometimes infestationing to protect my shit, or even just spearing, Forbidden Spear to keep my stuff alive, or Lance, whatever the hell it's called. So next is Raigeki Break, and yes, this is OCG, so this card's amazing and doesn't matter. But it's really great because Necrocosmos and whatever the hell the other one's called, Dimensional Fissure, really hurt this deck. If they can go turn 1 D-Fissure or stand on your standby phase, they just flip over Macrocosmos, that really hurts, and I found that hard to come back from. So Raigeki Break is a nice way to get out of that without having to hope that you draw into Junon and fix the problem the old-fashioned way, because if you don't have any spellbooks in there, she can't actually start popping anything. So that's also a problem. And then obviously Solemn Judgement, and I'm only running 1 Solemn Warning, because I think you have to scare people into thinking your face downs could be solemn, but not necessarily always paying the life points, because in this deck you are going to be getting hit a lot, and sometimes the warnings are just not that great over breaks. So overall, I'm fairly happy with the trap set right now. I might test out a second warning, or maybe turn the breaks into compulsory, but for the moment I really like this. The extra deck obviously is just the simple stuff. Big Eye, the Steal a Creature, Harion and Saint Tis, the level 5 and 7 exceeds. I haven't really found either of them to be that useful, unfortunately. The art is beautiful, but that's about it. So really, that's the deck right now, and it is not bad. It can put up with the big boys, but they unfortunately need to have a bad draw, and you need to have a turn to set up. So this deck needs about 1 turn to really get going, but once it's set up and in motion and you have the loops going that you can tutor up easily, you're in a great position, and it's really hard to lose from that position as long as you play well, because Dark Hole won't save them, Heavy generally won't do anything against you, and so you really just need that 1 turn to set up. So we'll see what the next format brings, but give this deck a try if you can. If you're in OCG and you can understand English, then please give it a try. And if you're in TCG, I recommend that when these come out over there, you give them a try. I know you guys have some exclusives, but Destroyer and that library kind of look like ass. So you can give them a try. Maybe they'll be good, but overall, this is what we have in OCG, and it's working out pretty good. So thanks for watching, and take it easy. And if you'd like me to make more of these for OCG in English, please let me know. Take care. Bye-bye.